place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
In my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't here for my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I won't always smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of truth now. Yeah. I'm here to speak and make it clear. I'm sorry, y'all, for all I've done. But I'm not the only one. In a dark place, I told some lies. But I'm not the only one. We all got secrets under the sun. In the shadows, we played the game. Now I'm standing here taking the blame. A lot of y'all was at the freak off too, so don't put it all on me. That's just the truth. I've been up and down this road trying to find my peace. Confessions of a man without a release. Oh, now, hey. In the mirror, I saw the truth hiding in plain view. I'm coming clean now, this burden to undo. We were all there dancing shadows in the night, acting wrong when we knew what was right. But deep inside, there's more you must see. In this room of mirrors, it's not just me. I walk this path with heavy chains, trying to shed those sins, erase the stains. I've seen the highs and the crushing lows, fading in the spotlight. That's how it goes. Yeah. Now I'm standing here, hard on my sleeve, trying to clear the air, let the demons relieve. Every wrong turn and every mistake led me to this moment, let my soul quake. Plays a part in the shadows deep, lost in the game. It's promises to keep.
Difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up.
Again, with the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get into it. Everyone, please like and share. Okay, so before we get started, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can pick up your 12 Tribes at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it on Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. All right, hello, Buckhorse DC, Stacy Quentin, Lillian X, Israelite. Okay, Stacy, Lynn Jones, the lovely T is in the house. Okay, shout out to my moderators putting in work. I see you, Jeff ATL, DSB, Uncle L is in the house, Poetical Winds, Pearly. Okay, Claudette is in here. All right, so let's get into it. Lillian X. Kevin Hartzog is here. Okay, so with that all being said, you all know I love me some Loyal Royal, so let's talk about it. Now, don't forget to hate Battle X. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. Now, first things first, let's talk about it because the port strike has ended. Okay, much to my surprise, because we know Biden didn't want to sign the Taft-Hartley Act or the Taft-Hartley Act. So, with that all being said, I'm going to share my screen so we can check out this report. Everyone, please go ahead and get those likes up. Also, make sure that you're still subscribed, double check, especially if you have not been receiving notifications. You all know how it goes down in the YouTube streets.
On this very busy Thursday, we're a little past the top of the hour. It's a new hour, 4 o'clock here on the West Coast, 7 o'clock there on the East Coast. We have breaking news that we want to get to right now. You'll remember if you were joining us on midnight on Monday, October the 1st, when those port workers went on strike. They went off the job onto the picket line. We are breaking in right now because the parties have reached a tentative agreement here. We have live pictures. I'm going to bring some of them up here, not only in New York, but also there at the Port of Savannah in Georgia as well. Well, this is what we know. The union representing those 45,000 striking U.S. dock workers at ports up and down the eastern seaboard and the Gulf Coast. Well, they have reached a deal with the U.S. Maritime Alliance to suspend their strike until January the 15th to provide time to negotiate a new contract. That's according to a person briefed on the matter to Fox here. So the strike is over for now. There's this 90-day window for talks to continue. This is tentative at the moment here. If talks break down past January 15th, presumably the strike will go into effect. But they have bought themselves time here. The union, remember, the International Longshoremen's Association, will resume working immediately, at least until January the 15th. The agreement will allow both the union and the U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents both the shippers and the ports here, time to negotiate a new 6-year contract. So the person to the Associated Press also said both sides reached agreement on wage increases, but details were not available here. Fox Business, though, does have the details. If no full deal is reached by then, by January the 15th, the offer that is on the table right now, that offer is a 62% wage increase. That hike will be pulled from the table if in the interim they cannot still agree on this here. This is a conditional offer. It's been made to the ILA. The ILA has accepted this right now, 62% wage increase here. Not entirely sure if they have agreed or not on some of these other concerns these dock workers had, like the threat of automation to their jobs, also some with regard to their retirement plans as well. This is what we know right now. The deal reached only matters right now with their base pay, with their wages, and they're getting a 62% hike. It's on the table, that offer, for the next 90 days here. In the meantime, we are getting in right now a joint statement in from both parties. Let's take that here. All right, so this is what they say. This is a joint statement between the ILA and the Maritime Alliance, quote, that the International Longshoremen's Association and the United States Maritime Alliance Limited have reached a tentative agreement on wages and have agreed to extend the master contract until January 15th, 2025 to return to the bargaining table to negotiate all other issues. Effective immediately, all current job actions will cease and all work covered by the master contract will resume here. So this was about a 3.5-day strike here. We've covered a lot of union strikes here at Live Now. This one, not very long at all here. We do have live pictures. I believe this is in Red Hook in Brooklyn at the moment, a live picture there. And you can see it looks like some of these striking dock workers who are no longer striking, waving the American flag. You see there our friend Fox's Connor Hansen. He's on the scene there in Red Hook in Brooklyn. Of course, we know the largest port on the East Coast. That's the port of New York and New Jersey here. We've been showing you some of these scenes throughout the last 3.5 days here. So this is happening very, very fast. Just happened within the last 30 minutes here. Let's put up some of these tweets. The Associated Press has it that the union representing 45,000 striking U.S. dock workers at East and Gulf Coast ports has reached a deal to suspend their strike until January the 15th to provide time to negotiate a new contract. Now, this doesn't mean this is over by any means. All it means is that these dock workers, they will get back on the job while the parties that represent them, the union that represents them, led by the ILA president, Harold Daggett, he will be back at the table with the U.S. Maritime Alliance here. Now, the ILA this morning put out quite a testy, tense, long statement on their Facebook page, really criticizing members of the media. There was a piece in the New York Post just yesterday kind of detailing, outlining some of Harold Daggett's lavish expenditures and mansion there, talking about his lifestyle. And Daggett really went after the Post for that. He said the newspaper this week published aerial photographs of his New Jersey home, including posting his address in an article. He says they printed other details of his personal life full of false accusations against him with the sole intent on destroying his character and disparaging his 68-year ILA career with the intention of weakening his ability to negotiate a new master contract for ILA members. That was this morning. And how the hours have progressed and the news has progressed here, that the port strike has been suspended for now at least 90 days while the parties get back to the table. Detroit, the Association.
Okay. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop there because now it's becoming just a bit repetitious. So he's saying that the strike is over for now. Okay, so 90 days they'll resume if they have not reached a permanent negotiation. Now, here's the thing. Harold Daggett, one of the reasons that I do believe that President Biden, when he was questioned about intervening and going ahead and invoking the Taft-Hartley Act, the reason I believe that he said he wasn't going to intervene is because Harold Daggett, okay, the leader of the International Longshoremen's Association, that is Biden's decades-long friend. Okay, that's his decades-long friend. But not only that, the Longshoremen's Association, they actually donated $115,000 to the Democrats. Okay, so that might have been motivation for Biden to say that he wasn't going to intervene. Maybe he didn't want to piss anyone off, okay? But because, like I said, they supposedly gave the Democrats $115,000, and then they donated like $5,000 to the Republicans. So at the end of the day, do they really want to tick them off? So, well, the good news is it's paused for now. Okay, the good news is it's paused for now. Dan says the screen is frozen. Are you serious? Hold on, it's not frozen for me. Okay, well, with that all being said, I'll just stop the camera. Okay, how about that? Okay, thanks for letting me know. So with that all being said, we'll just keep the camera off, okay? So now, but let's get into it because Liz Cheney supposedly blasted Trump, okay, for some things that he's been saying. And I'm going to go to that video right now. I'm going to share the screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Trump in return going after the former Wyoming lawmaker, of course, the daughter of former Vice President, very conservative Vice President Dick Cheney.
Well, Liz Cheney lost for Congress. She was terrible. Liz Cheney is a stupid war hawk. All she wants to do is shoot missiles at people. I really think it hurts. I think, frankly, if Kamala, I think they hurt each other. I think they're so bad, both of them.
We can start with Liz Cheney here. We knew she had vowed she was going to do whatever she could to make sure that Donald Trump never gets near the Oval Office again. That's kind of her framing on it. They obviously tried to underscore the symbolism by where they held this event, going to the birthplace of the Republican Party in Wisconsin. The bottom line question, how much does it move the needle?
That's the real question here. And, Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, her father has also come out and endorsed Harris. She has been a Trump critic for a long time. She, sat on the January 6th commission. She has been very outspoken about his threat to democracy. So it's unclear that she's going to really be able to pull away people who are thinking about supporting Trump now, but she gives a permission structure to some people who may stay home or just not interested in voting for Trump to vote for Harris.
All right, so you all heard that. So, Trump he really needs to stop attacking people just because they're not for him. They don't want to support or vote for him. At the end of the day, he's being very childish and insecure. Okay, nobody has to vote for him. This is everyone's choice. But it's interesting how he continues to attack people for their own views. Now, he doesn't want anyone attacking him for his views, does he? Well, of course he doesn't. So as far as I'm concerned, he needs to sit down somewhere. Now, let's talk about Garth Brooks, because it came out yesterday that Garth Brooks has been accused of assault. Let me see if my camera's working now. Okay, can you all, am I still frozen? Am I still frozen? Let me know. Is the screen still frozen, beloveds? I have questions. Shirley says that's why he's a spoiled brat. Okay, so it is still frozen. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I'm just going to keep the camera off. Don't worry. Okay, so now let's talk about Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks accused of assault and battery in lawsuit from hair and makeup artist who worked for him. Okay, now this came out just yesterday. So I'm going to share my screen. Everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. A lot of people are getting called out. If you pay attention, when the allegations against Diddy first came out, there was Jimmy Iovine who was accused, and then of course there was Aaron Hall, there was Axl Rose. I mean, there was many people being called out. There was L.A. Reid, and if you pay attention to it, all of those seem to have just gone away. Like they really just got swept under the rug. Like nobody's even still talking about those. Did you all think about that? Nobody said anything about the rest of these allegations. So let's get into it. Okay, so country music star Garth Brooks has been accused of assault and battery in a lawsuit from a Jane Roe, who says that she worked as a hairstylist and makeup artist for the award-winning singer. Now, the complaint filed in a state court in California on Thursday and obtained by CNN states that the alleged incidents occurred in 2019. Now, she claims she was raped by Brooks during a work trip. And in a statement to CNN later on Thursday, says, for the last 2 months, I have been hassled to no end with threats, lies, and tragic tales of what my future would be if I did not write a check for many millions of dollars. Now, hush money, no matter how much or how little, is still hush money. In my mind, that means I'm admitting to behavior I am incapable of. Ugly acts no human should ever do to another, he added. We filed suit against this person nearly a month ago to speak out against extortion and defamation of character. We filed it anonymously for the sake of families on both sides. Now, prior to Roe's filing, and as first reported by CNN, an anonymous celebrity plaintiff, now disclosed to be Brooks, had tried to block Roe from publicly repeating her allegations and fiercely denied the claims. Now, and this is all according to a previous complaint that actually he had filed against filed as John Doe. Okay, so Garth Brooks had already filed because he obviously knew that she was going to be saying these things and he felt like he was being extorted. Now, Roe began handling hair and makeup services for Brooks in 2017, according to her lawsuit, which states that she was first hired to do hair and makeup for his wife, Trisha Yearwood, which was in 1999. Now, CNN has reached out to representatives for Yearwood for comment. They say, in addition to assault and battery, the suit accuses Brooks of repeatedly exposing his private parts and his buttocks, talking about SEX and sharing sexual fantasies with Roe on a regular basis, regularly changing his clothing in front of Roe and sending sexually explicit text messages. Now, in her filing, Roe claims that during one alleged incident in 2019, when she was at Brooks's home for work, he walked out of the shower completely in his birthday suit, grabbed her hands and forced them onto his privates while speaking to her with sexually explicit and vulgar language. Now, in another alleged incident in May of 2016, the suit alleges that Brooks raped Roe in a hotel room during a work trip to Los Angeles where Brooks was taping a Grammy tribute performance. This sounds nefarious. Okay, now, according to the suit, Brooks and Roe traveled to Los Angeles on Brooks's private jet, saying usually there were others on Brooks's private jet, but this time, Miss Roe and Brooks were the only two passengers, according to the report or the complaint. Now, once in Los Angeles at the hotel, Miss Roe said she could not believe that Brooks had booked a hotel suite with one bedroom and she did not have a separate room. Now, once they arrived at the hotel suite, Roe alleges the country singer appeared in the doorway to the bedroom completely in his birthday suit. Roe's complaint states that she felt trapped in the room alone with Brooks. Now, after the alleged rape, Roe claims that Brooks continued to tell her his sexual fantasies with more frequency and physically groped her. The complaint states that Brooks repeated remarks about having a threesome with his wife. He continued to say that. So, in his complaint as plaintiff John Doe, Brooks claims defendant Roe's attorney sent him a confidential demand letter alleging sexual misconduct after he declined Roe's request for salaried employment and medical benefits. Now, defendant's allegations are not true, Brooks says in the lawsuit, or he stated in the lawsuit. Now, defendant is well aware, he says, however, of the substantial irreparable damage such false allegations would do to plaintiff's well-earned reputation as a decent and caring person, along with unavoidable damage to his family and irreparable damage to his career and livelihood that would result if she made good on her threat to publicly file her fabricated lawsuit. Now, Roe's attorneys told CNN that Brooks's efforts to silence our client through the filing of a preemptive complaint in Mississippi was nothing more than an act of desperation and attempted intimidation. Okay, they say we are confident that Brooks will be held accountable for his actions. This is what attorney Douglas H. Wigner, Janine M. Christensen, and Haley Baker said in a statement to CNN. Now, please pay attention because aren't these Cassie's attorneys? Douglas H. Wigner is definitely Cassie's attorney. Okay, now he says, we applaud our client's courage and moving forward with her complaint against Garth Brooks. The complaint filed today demonstrates that sexual predators exist not only in corporate America, Hollywood, and in the rap and the rock and in the rock and roll industries, but also in the world of country music. Well, I would only think that that would be the case. Not saying that Garth Brooks is guilty or innocent, but I would assume that these allegations would come from country music as well, because when they say the music industry, well, they're talking about all genres of music. And we've heard about all of the nefarious allegations in the past, okay, as it pertains to a lot of these big time celebrities. So, with that all being said, everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, now with that all being said, let's talk about Diddy because more information just continues to come out about him every single day. I mean, literally. And some of it may sound crazy or far fetched. For example, when the guy sued him from jail or when the cartel, in fact, sued him. Okay. But nonetheless, these are the things that are being said. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, so on some days ago, I reported to you guys that there was a victim of trafficking who claims to have been to a Diddy party. Okay, to one of those alleged freak offs. Now, she talked about her and other young people there being used as party favors. And she talked about a myriad of things. And she also said that CPS was involved. Now, I showed you all a report on that video where it talked about trafficking going on through CPS, foster care, and all of that. So clearly, she was not lying about that. Okay, so with that all being said, she has another video And I'm going to share that video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And let me just say that everything that's said in this video is all alleged, okay? I can't substantiate or deny. I can't confirm or deny any of the things that she's talking about. I'm just here to let you hear it. And also, I did bleep out some of the stuff that she said just for no trouble with ScrewTube. But also, there is a specific person's name who's a big-time celebrity, very high profile. She said their name, and I bleeped their name out. Now, the reason I bleep their name out is because I don't want to get Tasha K'd. At the end of the day, I've never heard anything nefarious about this person, and I don't know if it's true or not. So I just prefer to take it out. And at the end of the day, I also want to say that she did mention Oprah's name. And I didn't bother to take Oprah's name out because we've heard things about Oprah before. Okay. So with that all being said, I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And then you'll hear a clip of my song in the video. You'll hear a clip of my song in the video several times. And that is where I removed certain things that she said. Some of the stuff I can't play on YouTube, and that's why I removed some of it. Okay, so let's get into it.
I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested. And I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy. P. Diddy. People don't usually talk and stop and think about the children victims that are going through things right now as we speak, and the ones who suffered through all this bullshit. I decided to stop for a second and do some projects with projects all around, because we just said, you know what? This is our life. It's not changing. We stopped somewhere, and I've been hiding. My mom and I have been hiding. We've had our head down. We tried to back up. We even tried to tell you everything that we can, and now we have people messaging us, investigators, people that want to talk now, when now it's because it's trending. We're still not on the subject of the kids. All the adults are covering their asses. All the adults are, I left at a certain time, yet you knew children were there. You knew these parties were not okay. They weren't freak-offs. They were satanic ritual orgies. Get it straight. It wasn't just adults in these parties. The adults were responsible for the
Queen. Queen. Ahmadiyyah.
Now, those who are trying to come at us now, talking like, oh, well, now that Diddy's out, now that you can talk. For why? Because we tried to have a case with Child Protective Services. We gave them 8 months worth of evidence. 8 months worth of evidence. That didn't even do a crumb. They took that case and they hid it. If you are a survivor and if you are a real victim, be careful. Because these hotline numbers that they're putting out, I don't trust them. I wouldn't do it.
They take your information to see what you have.
They're taking inventory.
And then they shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking inventory. So don't trust them. Don't trust the feds. Don't trust the judges. All y'all. You're all guilty. You're all corrupt. Any attorney that's taking money to defend Diddy, you're nasty and vile.
That's blood money.
That's blood money.
That's all blood money. You do know that, right?
Queen.
Whether you take money from him to shut up, whether you take money from him for period, that's blood money. I don't want anybody's money. You see all the people running? They're ducking and hiding because everybody knows that there is children there. But we're still not talking about the kids yet. When are we going to talk about the kids? Everybody's demanding something from the victims. Why aren't you demanding it from the news? You know he's about to turn into another Epstein, and then the list follows and it circles back into a web. So why isn't anybody demanding any information on the kids? Huh?
Where'd that supply chain come from?
Do you think that thousands of bottles worth of baby oil was for thousands of who? $65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza was for who? Trafficking over the border was for who? Child Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those kids that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those kids are going? This ain't about an election anymore. Y'all know that, right? The election is canceled. Because everybody that you love, you don't live in the world you think you do. Everybody that you think is not guilty is about to show you who they really are. I've been screaming for years. So now, if you see me over here trying to live a normal life and tying up loose ends as justice, mind your f***ing business. Nobody ever thinks about the victims. Nobody. The victims' lives get turned around when the predators' lives want to just get announced. You slap them on the wrist and you bring up every source of trauma for the victim. But nobody wants to stop and think about that. We're not talking about the victims that are still going through the shit right now with other people who are running to cover their ass and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why you running? Our PTSD lives on every damn day that they did what they did. But it's only talked about when it's trending. We got legal evidence to drop. I just don't know what's the point. Yeah, I was at a Diddy party. I was one of the party favors. But I told you, nobody tells on Diddy. Maria Z, I did that interview in 2021, 7 months ago. We made sure, I already knew, that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested. I already knew that 7-8 months ago. We went and made sure there were sworn documents. We have them. When we went to Colorado for the A to Z event, we had a lot of legal evidence that we made sure we already had because we knew a list of people were about to get got. You can't run for that long. I'm just shocked we're finally seeing the day.
All right. So this is all nefarious. You all heard what she said. Okay, so it looks like I'm still frozen. So we're just gonna have to keep this off permanently, it looks like. Okay, so now again, I want you all to pay attention to something that she said. First of all, yes, she did call out Okra, and she's on the move right now. She and her mother are on the move. They're not staying in one place because they clearly fear for their own safety. Now, with that all being said, pay attention to how she said something about trafficking across the border. Okay, you all heard that, right? Once in the chat, if you all heard when she said something about trafficking across the border. Because I'm about to share my screen. I'm about to share my screen in just a second. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Now, I did a video a few days ago. Hold on, let me just get to the timestamp of this specific video. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. Okay, so listen, she said something about trafficking across the border. Okay, so you all heard that part. Now I want you all to pay attention because that goes back to a video that I did days ago. Now let's get into it. And you heard it here first, even though somebody copied it the same day and I called them out on it and they got angry. Please pay attention. Now, this is what I pointed out to you guys that nobody seemed to have caught until I did.
Okay. Mr. Jackson at Staples Center for his last rehearsal?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall what time you left to go to the Staples Center?
Really big guy? Does he know Taekwondo? He studied in college? And I think that's what that young man was. And you see, for you to belong in intelligence, you don't have to. So
Laurel went to Boulevard, that's about an hour east of our newsroom, to see what they're going to do with all that land.
We're not just out here in the middle of nowhere. Look how close we are to the border wall with Mexico. Now, when we were driving out here, all I saw were a bunch of boulders and a few trees. But when Fahim Muhammad came out here, all he saw was potential.
We see clear space so we uninterruptedly we can enjoy nature. You know what I mean? Especially growing up in the city, a congested city like LA. When we're out here, I mean, it's totally different.
Fahim Muhammad bought 198 acres out here in Boulevard to get away.
It's real quiet.
Yeah, this is not like Chicago, not like LA. He lives in Los Angeles and runs a real estate business that buys and rebuilds properties in the south side of Chicago. He says to create a better living situation for the Black community there.
Based on what's happening with this renovation right now.
His company, Oasis Investment Group, even teaches people home ownership.
These are people that have had families on government assistance for years, and now they're actually enrolling in courses to learn how to buy their own homes.
Fahim says his mom taught he and his siblings how important it is to own your own property and to help their community. So when his son Fahim recently turned 13, he gave him 40 acres.
I thought it would be a great opportunity to teach him a life lesson about the value of land.
And they're teaching other kids from LA these lessons too.
So all them regular rocks you picked?
They bring inner city kids out here to hike, ride ATVs, and build campfires. You can tell how much their family loves it when I ask them what it's like out here at night.
Amazing.
It was fun.
You get full view of the stars. It's like,
Because like there's no
fresh
city
air.
lights out here, so you get to no pollution, stuff like that. So you get to see like clear sky, you can see all the stars and stuff. It was fun.
13-year-old Fahim has some ideas for his property.
You can build like ATVs like around like, the whole thing. It's like once you build a zip line from the mountain.
And even though they're right beside the border wall, they've had no problems. Out here, these city kids enjoy their own private open space.
You got fresh water, you got clear skies. At night, you can see all of the stars, the moon, the sunrise is beautiful.
In Boulevard, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Now, here's the thing. I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention because here's my thing. I have a lot of friends in real estate. Okay, have a lot of friends in real estate, and I'm very interested in real estate myself. So, what I find interesting is this. What I find interesting is the land that he purchased. He purchased the land by the southern border wall. 198 acres, did they say, or 148 acres, somewhere along those lines. But 40 acres was specifically for his son. So I want you all to pay attention. What's out there? There's nothing out there. Why would you purchase land out there? Let me just show you something real quick, because I need you to really pay attention to what I'm saying. This is what he purchased. This is what he purchased. That's what he bought. I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you what I think is going on here. Then, like I said, I could be wrong, and then again, I could be absolutely right. You know, this man is supposed 160 acres. Thank you, Bafana Duba. Thank you, beloved. Okay, here's what I think. That land that he purchased, and Diddy even posted about it, according to the news reporter. He said, oh, rapper Sean Combs or Diddy, whatever he called him, he even posted about it. Well, I'm sure he did, because that land that he purchased likely benefits Diddy in some way. You see, when Lil Rod said that that's the man who could get rid of anyone and anything, well, honey, if you got 168 acres of land out in the middle of nowhere, you could hide anything you want to hide or anybody you want to hide. And by body, I mean dead bodies. Now, I'm not saying that he did. I have questions. I have questions. And here's another thing. So, you know, I called up one of my college friends, right? And I asked them. Now, they've been working with Border Patrol for about 10, 15 years, somewhere along that time frame. And I asked them, I said, listen, why would somebody buy land way out there by the southern border wall It's nothing out there. It looks crazy. I mean, would they be want to build something out there? And you know what he told me? He said the only, and when I showed him the footage, you know what he said? He said the only type of people that I would fathom that would purchase land out there are people who are either criminals or they want to be criminals. That's what he said. Either criminals or people who want to be criminals or longtime border residents, like somebody who's already been living out there and they just want to get more land. Other than that, why would somebody go out there and buy that land? That land looks awful. It looks horrible. And there's a whole lot of trafficking going on out there. And there's a whole lot of cartels that come through there. And there's a whole lot of grape that happens out there. And there's a whole lot of murder that happens out there. Why would you want to live out there? Or even if you don't live there, why would you want to own land out there? It's a very dangerous place. And if you have the money to purchase 168 acres, you probably got it for cheap, of course, because the location. But if you have money to purchase real estate and you have your own business and all of that, wouldn't you want to buy something nice and beautiful where you could just relax and walk through the grass and see the trees and all of that, somewhere that could be off by itself, okay? But still somewhere where it's nice and you don't have to worry about crime, especially when you have teenage boys. So I think that is something nefarious going on. I really think that this is probably Diddy's version of Epstein Island. Because there's no telling how many bodies are buried at Epstein Island. They never said anything about doing a search. And I find that interesting too. Because if I had been on the case as one of the feds or even the prosecutor with the Jeffrey Epstein case, one of the first things I would have told them to do after they got him arrested and the indictment was sent out and all of that, and the people started coming forward, the next thing I would have had them to do was go to that island, start digging, and see what you can find. Okay? See what you can find. Because I'm pretty sure there's some bones buried there. And I think the same thing's going on with Mr. Fahim Muhammad. Okay? I think the same thing is going on with him. Anything that Diddy wanted to get rid of, or anybody he wanted to get rid of. And we all know that there's been rumors and allegations for decades about Diddy basically just, being accused of taking people out or having people taken out. Okay? People dropping around him like flies. Okay? So that Crazy Beach area says that's morbid. Yeah, it is. Sheila said, sounds about right. Okay, thank you. That's just what I'm thinking. Okay. Now I want you all to pay attention because, like I said, that's just something I was thinking about when I started wondering and asking myself, because somebody actually put it in the chat the other day. I can't remember which one of you did, but one of my loyal royals put it in the chat the other day and said, Queen, where's Fahim Muhammad? And I said, that's a good question. Maybe I'll look into it. And so I did. And that's what I found. That's what I found. Okay. Pretty Wing said, doesn't look like that land can be cultivated either. Exactly. It just looks like it's just a mess. Like, if anything, it looks like it would be a landfill or something like that. Okay. Or maybe somewhere you go and ride your four-wheelers or something, perhaps. But, they're talking about fresh air out there and all of that stuff. So you're going way out there to the southern border wall for fresh, clean air, where there's a whole bunch of nefarious things going on at any given moment, people coming across the border, drug cartels included, trafficking going on, murder, rape, and all these other shenanigans. Yeah, I find it all interesting. Yeah, I'm not falling for it. I think he's absolutely up to something nefarious, like I said. So with that all being said, let's listen to. Okay, so with that all being said, here's the thing. Not only, did I say that there could be the potential that things are being hidden out there? But what about people coming across the border? Because I also told you all in that same video, I'm pretty sure, about all of these missing children that were migrant children, 320,000 of them. Okay, what's really going on here? Now, this young lady in the previous video said something about trafficking, and she talked about across the border. So just put two and two together. Okay, but not only that, there's also cartels. right? That I mentioned to you all that come across that border too. So with that all being said, let's go back and revisit this. And that in fact ruined his drug smuggling business. Okay, let's talk about it, because how does this make a bit of sense? And so plaintiff Alfredo P. Gonzalez, who appears pro se and is currently incarcerated in the Centennial Correctional Facility in Cannon City, Colorado, brings this action asserting of defamation. Now he seems, and these are the court documents, okay? Now he seems to allege that he is a citizen of Colorado and he sues Bad Boy Entertainment, which he alleges is a corporation duly organized and existing under the laws of the state of New York, and Sean P. Diddy Combs, Bad Boy Chief Executive Officer, whom he alleges is a citizen of the state of New York. Plaintiff seeks $666,000 in damages. Now I want you to pay attention to that amount, because it's $666,000 in damages. Okay, plaintiff alleges the following. Due to what appears to be his connections with the Sinaloa drug cartel, on or about May the 5th of 2021, plaintiff received a telephone call from an unidentified business partner of Diddy's. Now, the business partner told plaintiff that Combs was wanting to set up some business deals with the Sinaloa cartel. Plaintiff seems to allege that he is a member of that cartel. Plaintiff responded by saying that he was always willing to set up business deals with the rich for drugs. Okay, Combs' business partner said or stated that Diddy was looking to make a deal to get some young girls. Now listen to this part. Said he was looking to make a deal that he was making a big mistake for not taking the offer from Diddy, and that the call ended without an agreement. I want y'all to pay attention. Now, the same unidentified business partner of Combs later communicated again with plaintiff, asking once again if plaintiff could help him to get some underage boys or girls over the U.S. border, and that plaintiff could come to the party and watch the shows they put on. I need you all to pay attention right there, because this person, Alfredo P. Gonzalez, who's supposedly a member of the Sinaloa cartel, sued Diddy for making him lose his money or whatever. But he says that Diddy, they didn't want to do a deal with Diddy. They didn't want to fool with Diddy because Diddy was asking them to traffic children across the border. Okay, I'm sorry. Isn't that the same thing the girl said in the video? Isn't that the same thing that I had questions about as far as Fahim Muhammad purchasing all that land by the southern border? Are you all starting to piece this all together now? This really sounds crazy. Okay, this really sounds crazy, but hold on, because there's something else I'm going to bring to your attention. Sounds like freak-offs, okay? Please pay attention. Now, plaintiff refused. He told the business partner that he wanted no part in their SEX offender bullshit. Okay, plaintiff also insulted Bad Boy. Now, the business partner then told plaintiff that he can make plaintiff's life hell, but because of how much power he has in the streets. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to stop it right there. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. So basically, this is something that numerous people have said about Diddy. Okay, this is something numerous people have said about Diddy, and not just the victims that are suing him in civil court, that have led to this federal indictment that he now is sitting under. But hold on, let's not forget about this.
Hello, everyone, I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Now, there are stories going around about Diddy's home being raided and that his mother was there by herself, and over 30 video recordings were confiscated. There's also stories going around about Diddy being under investigation by the FBI and the DOJ. Now, if these things are true, my question is, where's all this information coming from? Because the feds don't typically go around broadcasting their investigations, because that could absolutely compromise the investigations. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, in some cases, the feds or the federal prosecutors will send a letter to the person who's the target of the investigation, and it's called a target letter. Okay, now we don't know if there is absolutely an investigation. So when people are saying things as if they know these things for fact, I think it's best to say allegedly until we find out for certain. But I know that he absolutely does need to be under federal investigation. But that's just my opinion. Please pay attention. Now, what there is proof of is that back in 2011, there were questions about Diddy as it pertained to him having some inappropriate relationships with minor boys, okay? And this came up when they had a meeting with James Rosemond, a.k.a. Jimmy the Henchman. Convicted kingpin Jimmy Henchman questioned by feds about Diddy, as you can see there. So let's talk about it. Now, it says in his September the 6th affidavit, now mind you, this was 2011, it says Rosemond contended that he reluctantly agreed to the proffer sessions arranged by Gerald Shargle, his former attorney. Rosemond added that investigators sought to get him to confess to crimes that he had no involvement in. When the defendant said he didn't know about certain events, they accused him of lying. He then goes on to say that the confrontational sessions got even more strange and bizarre when they started asking him about certain entertainers, including Diddy. So as you can see, this is the actual court affidavit, and the henchman says that one of the investigators proceeded to show him different pictures of women that were unclothed. They don't say in the affidavit why this investigative technique was used, but Henchman says it got real strange when they started asking him about different entertainers' sexual preferences. Now, they don't list the names of these people, but they do list Sean Combs. And they asked about his relations with underage boys. Please pay attention. As we can see, clearly nothing came of that line of questioning because Diddy never faced any consequences. But if there was something going on with Diddy and those boys, I believe that Jimmy Henchman absolutely knew. He likely just chose not to say anything, and that's just my opinion. But it definitely doesn't seem far-fetched, especially from some of the other things that we've heard about Diddy.
New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp. There you go. To learn Flavor Camp? Yeah, that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like? Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right? No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things. Close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off the goddamn plane. I should fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like this. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flake.
In that clip, it looks like Diddy spilled his own tea. I'm just waiting to see what else is going to come out because all of this is just getting more and more nefarious by the day.
Okay, so yeah, there was another allegation of them trying to tie Diddy to minors. Okay, so I want you all to pay attention to that. But not only that, now I need you to listen to this. So about a week ago, I did a video talking about Diddy's political ties. And I showed how he's always been one of those people that is used as a Democratic shield. How he's had the rock the vote and all of that stuff and vote or die campaigns. And then also how he's been seen with Obama and Hillary Clinton, basically about
voting. Y'all. Thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
Yes, we applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We
T-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing, he'd be sweating just like me.
Yeah, there you go,
y'all.
Okay, so Diddy clearly has had political ties, but now what I want you all to pay attention to that I find very interesting is the fact that Hillary Clinton just days ago came out and tried to warn us that someone's going to say some things about Kamala Harris. Okay, she claims that someone's going to come out and say some things about Kamala Harris and that these things are in fact not going to be true.
This shit just got darker, bruh. Stop what you doing and watch this clip of this interview, bruh. This is crazy.
I mean, look, the crazy story about me running a child trafficking operation out of a basement of a pizzeria, don't laugh. Don't laugh. It was a huge story. And it got one young man in North Carolina to get in his car with his, assault rifle and drive up to liberate these non-existent children and shoot up a pizzeria in Washington, D.C. This is dangerous stuff. It starts online, often on...
We've never seen a politician of this level acknowledge those type of allegations before. He is openly acknowledging these allegations. And the interview started with her saying that somebody's gonna have a concerted effort to try to pervert Kamala Harris in October. I don't know about y'all, bro, but something very dark about the politicians are coming out in October, bro. Hillary Clinton is trying to get in front of it. Remember we said this, bro. Remember we said this. Something dark about these politicians is coming out next month. Do not fall for the malarkey.
Nobody's talking about the fact that old Kamala Harris has ties to the diddler. And his Howard parties, where a lot of AKAs attended. Maybe they're all ordering pizza again.
Okay, so you all heard that. Now, I find that very interesting because, first of all, what is Hillary even talking about? And why would she come out and warn people that something nefarious about Kamala is going to be brought out to the forefront in October? Is she a psychic? How would she know this and why would she say it? And why would she bring up so-called conspiracy theories that someone said about her? Okay? And then she was talking about a food that people eat and they give to kids. Okay? Remember, the food that's cut into the shape of a triangle. But remember, the girl that was in the first video, she said something about that food too, being at a Diddy party along with hot dogs. And then don't forget that I showed you some tweets that were deleted by Chrissy Teigen days ago where she mentioned that same food. And then Jaguar mentioned that food, said maybe they were ready to order that food again. Okay, I want you all to pay attention because what is really going on here? Now, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I will be talking about this on the other platform that I'm on. And I'll let you all know when I post the link. Now, with that all being said, look at this. Because this is what someone sent me today. An insider who has been giving me information about a lot of nefarious things sent me this morning. You see what it says, how the trafficking allegations against Diddy are being exploited to smear Kamala Harris? Is this what Hillary was talking about? And if so, how did she know this was going to be said? How would Hillary know this was going to be said? Did someone pre-warn her? Now, here's what it says, and I'm going to read some of it. Some of it I won't be able to say because of certain things included. Okay, since his arrest on September the 16th, the twists and turns of Sean Combs, aka Diddy affair have been widely bandied about among Trump supporters, okay, the MAGA supporters, between an all-out smear campaign against Kamala Harris and among the most radical convictions of the existence of I can't say that, okay, but then accusations of complicity targeting the Democratic candidate are multiplying. Now, while Trump himself relayed the insinuations that presented his opponent as a client of the singer and producer Combs, several Harris supporters have expressed their anger at the rumors. This political sequence of rare violence is the latest of the defamatory attacks, often devoid of the slightest proof, made by Trump's campaign or Trump's camp against its political opponents in the past 8 years. So in the fall of 2016, amid the U.S. election campaign, an urban myth born of far-right internet forums accused high-ranking members of the Democratic Party of indulging in the whatever Hillary was talking about. I'm not going to say what it has here. Okay. Then they go on to say, they talk more about this stuff that Hillary was talking about. And then they say, as a result, part of the Trumpist electorate hoped in vain that there would be earth-shattering revelations implicating their Democratic opponents. Nevertheless, after 2020, many Trump supporters compiled video clips of Joe Biden in the presence of, I'm not going to say, but his vice president Harris has also been targeted and said that they're using AI generated or doctored photos and images showing her alongside Epstein. Now, I haven't seen any of those pictures of her and Epstein. I do know that Trump posted one with Diddy's face superimposed over Montel Williams's face. Now, goes on to say, in the summer, other doctored images and videos began to circulate that associated Harris with the rapper. And then she had just succeeded Biden on the campaign trail. Okay, so a pro-Trump post went viral saying, never forget Kamala Harris. Never forget how Kamala Harris got her start. She's no stranger to Diddy parties in Los Angeles either. This is what someone's account said. Okay, so they're saying that all of this stuff is a load of BS, and it just might be. But what I want to know is, why would Hillary come out and say that something was going to come out in October? You all don't find that suspicious? You all don't find that suspicious? Because I certainly do. Okay, what is she trying to allude to? But also, let's go back to this previous TikTok that I did, where I told you guys that basically Diddy has been dethroned. You see, Diddy was the king of all this, of these parties. You know, he superseded Mike Rubin in these white parties. And here's another thing. Now, this is what an inside source told me. They told me a lot of things, and I can't say some of it on this platform, but one of the things they told me is that these parties that are held, they're not just white parties. They also have a next level that's called the red parties. And then don't forget the young lady whose video I just showed you, who said she had paperwork and all of that, which I'll show you her paperwork in a minute. But that young lady said the party that she was at was called a black party. Now, it has also been alleged that these parties start off with you going to one level. And if you don't do certain things in the first level, then you don't make it to the next level. Okay, so I told you all days ago. So with that all being said, this is all very interesting. Okay, this is all very interesting. But let me go to the video that I did where I told you all about Diddy being dethroned. Because what's happened is the elite that Diddy was working under, in my opinion, well, now that he's ticked them off by going after Diageo, this is his downfall. They've taken him and removed him from the throne. Okay, a lot of the stuff that's been alleged to have happened at Diddy's parties, freakouts, whatever you want to call them, a lot of these things are very reminiscent of the movie with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise called Eyes Wide Shut.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. I want you to pay attention because the information that I'm about to give you, remember, you heard it here first. So days ago, I told you about the connection between Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, and now that list is going to be unveiled. But also, I want you to pay attention because there's a connection between Diddy and the Red Cloak from the movie Eyes Wide Shut. So let's get into it. Or if he was on that island or the flight list or any of those things, but they definitely had some type of connection. Because you see, I found this article that has many of the people that were linked to Jeffrey Epstein in one way or another. And if you look at the second paragraph, it says also in Epstein's address book is supermarket mogul Ron Burkle.
Now, in that previous video, I told you that Ronald Burkle was supposedly a Diddy's sugar daddy, and he absolutely was friends with Harvey Weinstein. They did a movie together, and his name was found in Jeffrey Epstein's address book. So if he had ties to these two men, well, I'm willing to bet that Diddy did as well. And when that list of names is unveiled, I'm willing to bet money that Diddy's name will absolutely be on there. Please pay attention. Now, in Diddy's album cover, he was wearing all red, and this was supposed to be symbolic of love. So he changed his name and all of that. But the movie Eyes Wide Shut had a character who was called the Red Cloak. And as you can see, these pictures look about the same, if you ask me. But let's see what Sloan Bella had to say about all of this, because then it'll make more sense.
Because of seeing, they're going to stitch his mouth shut. When I ask her why his mouth is being sewn up, it's because of his mentors, and they don't want it coming out over here, even though some of them are outing themselves. These are old guys connected to old-time, old-style Motown, and she's showing me that he's being shut up from outing them or from speaking about them.
Now, if you remember in the movie Eyes Wide Shut, they were all sworn to secrecy. No one outside of the members were supposed to know anything about the goings on. And remember when Tom Cruise came in and he didn't have the password and they knew he really didn't belong there? Well, they told him that he better not say anything. You see the code of silence known as Omerta. That means literally code of silence, and it means loyalty to the group, never to snitch on anyone. And as Sloan Bella just said, his mouth is going to be stitched shut. Please pay attention.
Country, they're going to speak about it. The clothing is a front for something else. The clothing is a front. Of course, they have to produce clothing, obviously, or you can't sell clothing, but it's a front for something else.
Now, Sloan said the clothing that Diddy had, the clothing line, was a front for something. And also, Jaguar Wright even said that his music was a front for trafficking. Now, remember, Cassie, in her lawsuit filing, spoke about trafficking. And Sloan Bella saying that the clothing was a front for something, well, it was likely the same thing. At the end of the day, isn't that what Jeffrey Epstein was accused of? So there is the connection. Please pay attention. And also, the outfit that Diddy wore to the gala when he went with Young Miami. You see, it looks very similar to what Anton LaVey wore, who is the founder of the Church of Satan. But not only that, the woman who saved Tom Cruise in the movie when he was in there without the right password. Well, you see what this woman is wearing? Well, what does this remind you of? It looks very similar to what Young Miami wore when her and Diddy went to the gala. And do you think this is a coincidence? Well, I absolutely don't. Also, in the movie Eyes Wide Shut, they had these parties with all of these wealthy elites, and they would have the women there to seduce these men. Now, this sounds very reminiscent of some of the parties that Diddy has allegedly been having. And also, some of the things pertaining to Eyes Wide Shut sound very reminiscent of the FOs that Cassie spoke about in her lawsuit. So with that all being said, it is clear to me that Diddy is being dethroned as the red cloak of the elites of my own skin tone. Please pay attention. Okay, so I want you all to pay attention because I told you all this last year sometime. Now, with that all being said, this is all nefarious. And there's a person, like I told you guys, an insider who's actually been to one of those Diddy parties and left because of things that they saw. And they talked about the different levels of passage that you have to go through. Now, I tried to get them to do an interview on the show. They are really in fear and all of that. I told them, well, you can come on and don't turn on your camera. Maybe I'll convince them. But right now, they don't want to really come out and say all of this stuff on a live. Now, Leon says, Queens connecting the dots. Thank you, beloved. Now, with that all being said, here's something else I want to bring back to the forefront of you all's memory. Because the way this person told me that there's different levels. You have the white parties, you have the red parties, and then the black parties. And that's the same thing that young girl said, that the party she was at where they were used as party favors was a black party. So what does that remind you of? For those of you who've been following, well, I'm going to bring this back to your memory because I did this video sometime last year, maybe 6 months or so ago, I do believe. Could have been a bit longer. because this sounds exactly like what the insider told me about the different levels of these parties.
Remember when all those Vine stars and skit Instagrammers moved to LA in like 2015-ish? So I wasn't a huge creator at the time, but I was there and around it all as all of that stuff was happening. I moved from Chicago to LA 3 weeks after high school with like $2,000 in my pocket that I saved up working at Steak and Shake with this other aspiring creator named David. I was much more into editing and being behind the camera at that time, and he was much more into Vine and vlogs and being on camera. That time of our lives was absolutely crazy. Everybody was broke, posting anything we could onto YouTube to get some attention. I happened to get a spot at the now notorious 1600 Vine Apartments, and David got a spot a little bit closer to USC. Everyone was collaborating with everyone, and it was the era of clickbait YouTube. And to be honest, it was extremely fun for the first few months, until Hollywood started to notice that influencers were the next big thing, and that the landscape of the industry was changing. And we started to get invited to more exclusive parties and events, where it seemed as if old Hollywood was almost grooming new Hollywood. And there was rumors of this one gathering that was happening on a monthly basis, where it seemed like anybody that got invited saw a massive jump in their numbers, secured huge brand deals right after attending. But apparently this gathering worked on a buddy system. Someone had to vouch for you and bring you as a guest. And by blind luck, me and David ended up getting invited. Some talent agents saw me and David shoot a silly skit at a random party. He didn't invite us that second. He just told us that he saw something special in us and took our contact information. And listen, people do that all the time in LA, but this guy had a different feel to him. He wasn't trying to convince us he had connections or hype himself up like everybody else does. He was just super calm and had a sharp way of speaking that demanded respect. He was extremely brief, and after getting our numbers, he just said, "Look out for the invite," and walked away. And this is where it gets weird. I never gave this guy my address. I only gave him my number. But I ended up getting an invitation by letter. And at the time, I thought that that was so cool. But in retrospect, as an adult looking back at it, that alone was a huge violation of privacy and a major red flag. But at the time, when I tell you I was absolutely buzzing with excitement. When I got it, the letter was so extravagant and detailed. It was gold with black and red lettering that read something like, "Your talents have been noted, your name has been endorsed, and I'll never forget this part. The dreams you've been chasing are a night away through the seventh heaven." And the address was a beautiful home in Laurel Canyon that was set to happen that weekend. It also noted to not be a minute late and not to expect to leave before midnight. And at the time, it felt like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And the excitement doubled when I got a text from David at the same time, in all caps saying, "Did you get one too?" I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. When I tell you I was on cloud 9 leading up to that party, I mean it. I was so young and naive and delusionally optimistic. I truly believed that I was going to go to this party and leave rich, because it literally seemed like that was happening to the creators around me that attended. I was hyped. I've never been a braggy person, but when you're young and excited, you get consumed by good news and want to talk to your friends and peers about it. So everybody that I chatted with who I knew was a content creator and was in the know about this party, I couldn't help but to tell them. And all the feedback was positive and along the lines of, "Let me know how it goes," or "Can you try to get me into the next one?" And even some from bigger creators saying, "I'll see you there," with like a little smirk on their face, like they were pumped for it. Except for one conversation with a creator that most of you probably know. This creator is an extremely positive guy, and he's one of the most wholesome, bubbly, genuine guys I met out there. And when I told him the good news, he looked at me like I told him a tsunami was headed towards the building. The usual joy that this man brought to every conversation turned into real fear and concern. And he made me leave the lobby and come up to his apartment before explaining anything to me. Like he was scared that somebody was going to overhear our conversation. When we got up to his apartment, he was just pacing. Like he had no idea how to start this conversation. But when he finally spoke up, all he said was, "Listen, Doug, I know you're excited, but I'm begging you, please do not go. That man is not who you think he is." He was being so frantic, and I could see tears welling up in this guy's eyes. But I was young, and I thought that I knew everything. I didn't even think the talent agent that sent us the invite was important. I was interested in the connections, and I didn't really care if the talent agent was shady or if his intention was to sign me to a bad deal. I thought I'd just say no to any bad contract that he tried to send, but still get to reap all the benefits of the party. So I tried to pry a little bit and ask follow-up questions, but all he gave me was, "I have a friend who went, and he hasn't been the same since he didn't cooperate. I don't know what he saw or what they did to him, but Doug, I do not want to see that happen to you. I don't know what he saw or what they did to him, but Doug, I do not want to see that happen to you." I start reassuring him that they won't make me do anything that I don't want to do. I don't even drink, let alone take any party favors. So peer pressure isn't much of an issue for me. I make up a lie to get out of the situation because, to be honest, I selfishly wanted to stay excited about this party, and I really didn't want to hear anything negative about it. So I jokingly told him that I'd text him when I got home and that I had to leave to edit some videos tonight. What I was really doing was calling my dad to beg him for $100 to buy a rental suit. Mind you, we were all still poor, and I was living in an apartment that I could barely afford. My dad reluctantly sent me the money, and I immediately texted David to pick me up tomorrow at 5 p.m. so we could both get our suits before the party and grab food before we head to the party at 11. When David picked me up the next day, he was
I'm
so
gonna fast
excited and in
forward
such a
this,
great mood
guys.
that I had to hide my concern. Seeing people dressed so nicely playing a silly child's game, but it's even weirder seeing beautiful and extravagant. And everyone waiting in line to walk in is smiling and laughing and friendly. So I get excited again. At the door, they take our phones and have us sign an NDA, which isn't uncommon in house parties like this in LA. And they give us a mask and a name tag with funny aliases. My mask looked like a bear, and David's looked like a bird. My alias was Stardust, which David got a crack out of, and his was Benji. We enter what you could call like the lobby.
I had to pause it right here to tell you guys, please pay attention, because anyone who saw Blink twice, this sounds reminiscent. Okay, because remember how they confiscated their phones before allowing them to enter? But let's continue.
Of the house. And as we're walking in, the apparent host of the party starts giving a speech. This man is very eccentric and outspoken, and he's got the cadence of a late night show host. And I spot the agent that invited us standing right behind him. The speech was basically just encouraging everybody to have fun and explaining the itinerary of the night. Apparently, this was a themed room party, and all of the guests were instructed to move to the next room whenever the grandfather clock chimed. He wrapped up his speech with some cheeky joke, and then one line that still irks me to this day. He said, "Have fun now. Our descent starts at midnight." I tried to give David the eyes that I didn't like where this party was going. This type of behavior from
Now pay attention, because when he says our descent starts at midnight, our descent starts at midnight. Okay, so doesn't that sound reminiscent of these FO parties that Diddy was having when they'd have the regular party? And then remember when Diddy would say, oh, it's time for the kids to leave, because now the real party's getting started. Remember, Jay-Z said after the party, it's the after party. Okay, so please pay attention. It all sounds similar. Same, different stories with similar circumstances.
people that I saw as adults made me extremely uncomfortable. The moment the host wrapped up his speech, a couple of workers came out of the doorway. They were holding a couple sets of long poles. All of a sudden, music started playing, and everybody seemed like they knew what was going on. So I just went along with it. So I guess these parties start off with a big game of limbo. It's funny seeing people dressed so nicely playing a silly child's game, but it's even weirder seeing A-list celebrities being so excited to play, because everybody had masks on, but when somebody that you grew up watching in movies walks by you with a quarter of their face covered, you still know it's.
Now, right here, he says everyone had masks on. Isn't that the way everyone came to the party on Eyes Wide Shut? In the movie Eyes Wide Shut, okay, they all had on masks, masquerade mask to be specific.
It's them. I was amazed with how inviting and willing to introduce themselves these people were. I was expecting at least an undertone of uppityness, but it seemed like everybody was involving everybody in conversation, and they were frequently introducing themselves to me with their alias, of course. The only thing weird about it was something that I didn't notice until the third person did it. When they shook my hand, they pressed their thumb into the soft part between my thumb and my pointer finger, and I only recognized the pattern because the third guy gave me a big smile and said, "This."
Okay, that was the secret Masonic handshake, allegedly.
Must be your first time here. In retrospect, this should have alarmed me, but it seemed like they got friendlier when they realized that it was my first time here, so I didn't really think anything of it. But before I got to ask any follow-up questions about this odd handshake, the first grandfather clock chime went off, and everybody excitedly rushed into the second room. When I finally got in there, I was taken aback by the dramatic decor change. Everything in this room was different shades of blue. The music was romantic, and all the furniture was cabana beds and love seats. I stood there for a second trying to realize what was different, but I couldn't put my finger on it until some girl walked by and caressed my shoulder in a really flirty manner. The decor changed, but the way everybody was acting was drastically different. Before, everybody seemed to be outgoing and inviting and friendly, but the second they stepped foot into this room, they became touchy, flirty, and suggestive. I was only 19 at the time, so this type of behavior from people that I saw as adults made me extremely uncomfortable, especially when I saw that the cabana beds had curtains that you could close for privacy. And I realized that these people weren't just being suggestive, they meant it. I tried to give David the eyes that I didn't like where this party was going, but he seemed to be really enjoying the female attention, so I was on my own. I basically stayed in perpetual motion and walked laps until the next chime went off, so I didn't have to sit next to anybody for too long and let them get too comfortable. The clock finally went off and everybody rushed to the next room immediately.
This is the car insurance trick. Big.
Okay, so with that all being said, Okay, so with that all been said, that sounded really crazy, right? Okay, Sophie B says sounds like hell on earth. So just think about it. Jabbar says this party sounds more elegant than the Diddy party. Well, it didn't sound more elegant to me because the part where ends up talking about his friend going to a different room and him not being able to go, and then him getting ousted from the mansion because he wouldn't do the oath that they wanted them to do. Yeah, it all sounds nefarious. Okay. Okay, now hold on. Hold on, because I'm going to play the rest because that was just the first part of what happened at that party. Okay, so let's keep going. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, this starts when they enter into another room.
Feast. It was table after table of the most delicious spreads I've ever seen. There was full tables for seafood, full tables for meats, full tables of sushi, and an entire wall of spirits. I almost started enjoying myself again. Until I saw the way these people were treating this food. They were disrespectfully biting chunks out of delicious prime rib roasts. They were just shoving copious amounts of high-grade sashimi into their mouths and eating caviar like it was cereal. The way that they were just grabbing with their hands and just spitting out things that they didn't like onto the floor ruined my appetite. At this point, I wanted nothing to do with these people. So I went up to the only familiar face in the room. The agent that invited me was the only other person not eating. So I approached him and lifted up my mask so he'd recognize me, considering we'd only met one time. Before I even got out my greeting or got my mask halfway off my face, he abruptly pressed my mask back into place and sharply said, "Mask stay on till the 6th room." He did it in a way that seemed like I was embarrassing him for not knowing the rules. So to ease the tension, I jokingly replied, "So we're only halfway there, huh?" He didn't laugh or make eye contact. He just dismissively replied, "I encourage you to engage in the festivities. A slow drip is better than a flood." He started to walk towards the door as the clock chimed for the next room, like he knew it was about to go off. I didn't like that interaction at all. He's the one that invited me here, and he seemed to have no interest in talking to me. I just kept going over what he said the entire time while we were in the next room. This room was yellow and basically just a casino. I wanted to talk to David privately and let him know that I wanted to leave, but he seemed to just be caught up in the momentum of the party. Plus, there was a roulette table in the room, and David's freakishly good at roulette. So at this point, the winning streak that he's building is the center point of the party. I can't fully focus on what the agent said to me because I have to pretend to be excited about David's winning streak in a fake casino where you're not actually winning money. And like clockwork, the chime goes off. The entire party starts rushing to the next room again, and the vibe changes dramatically. I'm the last person to walk into the bright red room. This room didn't seem to have a specific activity like the others. It was just empty and bright red, and everybody.
So he says a bright red room. Now, supposedly there's 7 different rooms at these parties where they have people engaging in the 7 deadly sins. Okay, now this is all alleged, mind you, but pay attention because he says the room was all red. Okay, is that where they hold the so-called red parties? I don't know, but let's keep going.
Everybody was whispering to each other. For a split second, I thought it might be a big game of telephone or something silly like that. But as I started walking through and brushing shoulders with these people and hearing what they were saying to each other, I started questioning everything. The same people that I saw laughing and celebrating and eating together were whispering the most heinous, offensive comments directly to each other. I mean, things that you wouldn't even say behind your friend's back, they were saying it to their face. I'm talking friendship-ending secrets and personal opinions about each other laced with envy and jealousy. I hurried to a quiet corner because I was sick of hearing everybody's dirty laundry after walking around for a minute and a half. And it all clicked. I knew exactly what this party was. I see the host ask the first person in line a question before having them repeat something that he said. When I tell you I am done with this party, I'm absolutely not doing that. All the dots start connecting in my head while everybody's being horrible to each other around me. I'm trying to recap the whole night and remember the order of each room to solidify my suspicions, but the chime for the next room goes off. This time, everybody gets eerily quiet and calm, like they got all of their venom out. The host of the party announces for all of the newcomers to come to the front. All of the attendees form a single file line in front of the next room's door. There's about 10 other newcomers in front of me and David, and the agent that invited us is standing to the left of the door, and the host of the party is standing to the right. The host has a pile of books on the table next to him. I see the host ask the first person in line a question and then grab a book based on his answer. He would present the book to the person and place a diamond-shaped metal symbol on top of it before having them repeat something that he said. Then he'd take their mask off and let them enter the next room. I couldn't make out.
Now pay attention. He said that he would ask the person a question and then he would hold open the book and place a diamond-shaped symbol on top. Diamond shapes. Okay, please pay attention. Like the pyramid that Jay-Z throws up, like the pyramid that's on the back of our dollars. Remember, they take things from ancient Egypt and twist it to do nefarious things. But let's keep going.
Exactly what he was doing until there was only 2 people ahead of me in line. The books were Bibles, Qurans, Torahs, and so on. He would ask the person, and which one is yours? Whichever they chose, he'd grab it and place the metal symbol on top of it. He'd have you put your hand on top of the metal symbol and then repeat, I am my own God, I bow to nobody but myself. When I tell you I am done with this party, and I whip my head around and I tell David I am absolutely not doing that. David whispered back in a joking tone like he always does. Dude, it's just a party. Who cares? I'll see you in the next room. And he skipped me in line to show me that he'd do it first to make me feel more comfortable. He went through with it and giggled his way into the next room. It was my turn, so I tried to play it cool and whisper to the host, do you mind if I skip this part? It's making me a little bit uncomfortable. I thought he'd subtly break character and reassure me that this is just a party theme and it's all good. Instead, he whispered back to me in a really kind tone. Of course, man, don't worry about it. Just take your mask off and turn around. I was relieved for about a split second before the agent that invited me here grabbed my arm and started guiding me towards the exit. And I see that everybody that was behind me in line staring at me straight-faced. I look back at the host and he's standing up and loudly shouts like he's starting a chant. The price was not paid. And then everybody in line that was staring at me chants in unison like they knew exactly what to do. Remove the profane. And they repeat it over and over until I'm through the exit door. The price was not paid. Remove the profane. The price was not paid. Remove the profane. So the agent just walks me to the closest door. He doesn't even walk me to the front of the party and out the front door. He just puts me out into the backyard. It's 4 a.m. My friend's still inside. I don't have my phone. So I decide to walk around the right side of the house because that's where all of the party attendees were kind of headed. Let me see if I could peek in and maybe flag down David to let him know I got kicked out. And there's some windows to the next room. But of course, these windows are like big church stained glass windows. And you can't really see through stained glass windows like the colored ones. But if you go really, really close and you look through the white parts, you could kind of see clearly what is on the inside. And this room is like a bizarre church replica without all of the seating. It's just a big church-like room. And all of the people that were in there had their masks off. And it was like a big circle and almost looked like an initiation. And all of these celebrities are standing around in a circle around the other 9 new people. It was 10 excluding me. And there was big TV grade cameras recording, and it looked like the group of celebrities and everybody else that was there was kind of cheering them on. But then there was clearly people in there that were much more serious and kind of threatening, and the 10 new people were in the middle of this room being forced to do horrible things that I wish I could unsee. And the new people clearly didn't want to do these things. They were being forced to do these things. And they were clearly recording it. And I see my friend being forced to do these horrible things in front of these people and in front of these cameras. I just start panicking. I don't know what to do. It's so in my head.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. Now, Noob R says, and thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved, and your insight into the topic. Says maybe the deal the celebrity signed has to do with allowing the demons to borrow their body. Orlando Brown's new video suggests that #spiritual war. You know that could be the case because I've also shown you all a video where Jay-Z said that the spirits enter him. Okay, that he becomes one with the spirits or something like that. And then I showed you the video where Beyonce said that something enters her. She feels something enter her. Okay. And so with that all being said, it all sounds suspect, like demons to me as well. Now, Rifling Christ says, I heard a sorcerer say the throne of Satan is a pyramid with an eye over the top, and a serpent's head and tongue stretches down the pyramid and forms a red carpet at its base. Well, that could absolutely be true. I mean, it sounds like it makes sense. And also, speaking about the red carpet, it's long been rumored that they have these red carpets because that's representative of blood. Okay, now I can't substantiate that, but that is just what some people have said. So listen, the bottom line is there's a whole lot of nefarious things going on. We've heard all of these allegations. All of this stuff seems to be connected. And let's not forget how he was talking about the different rooms and the different things going on in the different rooms. And then people have said that they have these 7 rooms, which represent the seven deadly sins. And then also, let's not forget that one of Diddy's alleged victims said recently that there were sex rooms in the mansion. Okay, there were sex rooms, like different rooms for different things. So this all just adds up to me. Now, Foxy Moon Premier says Jay-Z wore a Crawley shirt, do what thou wilt. Yes, absolutely. And I've told you all that he has that sweatshirt because he is clearly a fan of Lester Crawley, who has been said to have conjured up demons and even the devil himself. And also, this man was once deemed the most wicked man in the world before his death. Okay, he was a Satanist. Okay, so with that all being said, it is clear to me that a lot of these celebrities just do shady stuff, engage in nefarious things, all allegedly, of course. With that all being said, there are some more high profile people that are supposed to be called out. According to Tony Busby, he said that he's not just going after Diddy, he's going after all of the people that were involved in these things. So will the names finally come out? I don't know. But Thomas Allen said Barbara Bush was Crawley's offspring. Now, listen, I've heard that before too, but I've never been able to confirm or substantiate that, beloved. I absolutely have heard the same thing. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. You all take this information and do with it what you will. I just find it very interesting that Hillary Clinton brings up old so-called conspiracy theories and then says that Kamala is going to be the target of this stuff in October. And then we have Jaguar coming out saying something about Kamala and Diddy and the Howard parties and all of that. Now, the only thing that I know of Kamala being connected to Diddy was when I told you all days ago that Kamala had congratulated Diddy, or she basically praised him in 2020 about his efforts during the pandemic. Okay. Other than that, I've not seen any pictures of her with him or anything like that. And I'm not saying there's none that exist. I'm just saying that I have not seen them. Okay. So we'll see how this all unravels. But what is Hillary trying to get ahead of? Because it certainly seems like she's trying to get ahead of something. Okay, it certainly seems like she's trying to get ahead of something, like she's trying to basically say that if anything comes out, that it's going to be a conspiracy theory. And maybe it will be. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's all nefarious. Okay, it is all nefarious. And then Truth Over Everything says AI will be the excuse when they get exposed. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I told you all that AI technology is dangerous. Okay, because at the end of the day, AI technology can be used to create false narratives, but then it can also be used to confuse us as to what is real and what is fake, what is the truth and what is lies. And they know that. Okay, so please pay attention to that. All right, Dan says, did you hear about Melania Trump's statement? I can't remember. I read something about Melania earlier this morning. Not really. I don't know if it's the same thing you're talking about, beloved. But thanks for your contribution and your question. Now, with that all being said, Rifle Christ says, Queen, look up ex-sorcerer Erica Marquisa. She comes from a lineage of sorcerers and she discussed their involvement with the entertainment industry. Her testimony is mind-blowing and informative. Okay, thank you, beloved. I'll do just that. Now, I want you all to stay tuned because, as I said, there are things that cannot be discussed on this platform. So I will be doing a video and I'll let you all know when I do. I'm going to do it today, but and I'll post it sometime this weekend. It's going to be on the platform that sounds like Bumble, but starts with an R. Okay, Bumble with an R. Now, the reason I'm not saying it is because I was told that you're not supposed to say that platform on ScrewTube. Okay, so anyway, everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. Each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. Okay. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Mr. Elevation said the Queen receipts are not AI. Absolutely, beloved. Thank you. Okay, so anyway, I love you all to life, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. And also enjoy your strong end, not the weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. Until next time, beloveds, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got